Hey everybody, welcome to Life of Sunny Lee with Kathy Jarvis. And it's not been that busy of a week. It's been more of a trying, nervous, on edge week. I've got some stuff done, but not nearly as much as I would have liked to. Friday night, I was up almost all night with the tornado warnings in the area where my son was at. So I was kind of checking the radar and making sure he was okay. They were okay. And then Saturday, I texted them all to make sure that they were okay. There was a lot of damage in their area. The one son in his area, but he was okay. Okay. The other son didn't even have any problem whatsoever, and neither did the other one. So we lucked out there. We had some pretty good winds, but nothing really bad happened around here, thank God. Sunday we did manage to go to church. That was a big one. We haven't been able to go much last month because of all the flooding in the basement. So we did get to church, and then afterwards we came home, and then we went back to town and got the stuff that we needed for the small greenhouse. If you know, we've decided to keep that greenhouse after all, and I've been working on it. He's been at the apartments taking care of the maintenance and stuff on there. So I've had most of the week to myself. And so I've been working in the small greenhouse. Saturday I chitted all the potatoes. Getting them ready. And I uncovered the potato patch, hoping it would dry out so I could till it up and get it ready for the potatoes. But we've had a whole week of rain, tornado warnings, tornado watches. It's been almost constantly this week. I think we had one pretty day the whole week. And in that pretty day, I spent inside this small greenhouse. I got all the pavers put down. I put them all down, and I had space for the last row, and it wasn't quite enough space. So I had filled this bed and before I put down the pavers, which was a mistake. So I had to take the dirt from this end, put it on that end, so I could scoot the whole thing an inch that direction. So that was enough to get the pavers in. I had one broken paver, but actually that worked out fairly well because of the ratchet there. This ratchet on this side worked out, so I didn't need to do anything. But that one there was turned an odd way, and you couldn't get a paver in. So I found the one broken one and put it in there. It works wonderful. I meant to get this planted. I haven't got it planted yet. But on this side, remember I was talking about putting a table? Then I realized I had this potting bench, and I had it in the garden shed. And it worked out okay last year, but it wasn't great because there's no natural light in there. You have to turn on the light, which is a battery operated light. So if you're out of batteries or you haven't plugged it in to juice it up, you don't have any light. And this was originally in here. Well, originally it was on the back porch, but then I put it into the greenhouse before we lost the cover. So we decided to go ahead and put it back in here. That way I can keep my supplies underneath there, the bone meal, the blood meal, the vermiculite, and the mixing soil. So that's all in the tubs underneath there. And I have the chair in here. And I got tired of just laying my coat on the ground. And I remembered I had this old coat rack in the garage. So I brought it out here and put it there. Now, that may change a little bit because I'm thinking about getting some shelves and putting some shelves here, possibly a 4-tier no more than 3 foot long, so I can put starting trays on it, so that, you know, when I want to start the plants, I can start them on vertically instead of just putting them on the floor here. So that may change, but that's no big deal. If it does, I'll just scoot it back a little bit and put my chair over here, and I can move this bench. I got a little bit of space here. I can move it yet this away. So I should have plenty of room in here to work and to have my chair. My compost bin is fine. I do have a rope across there for the pots. Not for sure if I'm going to keep it or not. I'm going to put another rope here to the ceiling to help support it upward. But I couldn't get that done the other day because I had all the cats bothering me. And right now I've got all the cats put up so I can do this video in peace. So that's what we got done in here. So this is really ready to plant and ready to start bringing out the plants from the grow room and bringing them out here as soon as the nighttime temperature gets above 40 degrees. And I do have the thermometer here that goes to the house to tells me what the nighttime temperature is, high and low is. And I got a thermometer here that tells me what the temperature is when I'm out here. So I'm regulating the temperature out here to know when to bring the plants out. Inside the main greenhouse, the lettuces are coming up nicely. I still don't see any broccoli rabe, which was planted a week later in this area. They were old seeds, so they might not come. The spinach and the bib lettuce is fine. The Swiss chard's doing well. Peas are coming up nicely. Still haven't seen any of the sprouting onions, which are supposed to be here. But I see my little carrots. We got a couple that are older, but you can see the little ones. Now this is one thing that I said before. If you've not grown plants before, you really need to start your seed inside so you know what they look like. For years, I would hoe these because I didn't realize they were carrots. I was thinking carrots always came up like this. Nope, they come up like this. So, if you're new at this, make sure you know what your little seedlings are supposed to look like. This new Swiss chard is doing well. That is an old one from last year. Swiss chard will winter over in here, and the ones back there are wintered over. The turnips, I let those turnips go to seed, mainly for the bees that come in here. I wanted them to have something to eat when they do come. The turnips are doing fine, and the peas over here are fine. We see you've got lots of growth over there. We've got the radishes are up nicely. The beets have come up. The kale has come up, and the Swiss chard, the new row of Swiss chards come up. And the parsnips are starting to come up. So that's great. It takes a long time for parsnips, and those are starting to come. So that's what's going on inside the main greenhouse. Of course, I got over here, I've got where I'm going to put the peppers. I got stakes put in. When the peppers are ready, I'll just come out and put a pepper next to each of those stakes. Those flower pots go into the small greenhouse as soon as I get the rope put up across. And all those buckets over there will go into the bucket garden, which I don't put out until after the frost is our last frost date or close to it. When it says when my weather app says there's no more frost, that's when they'll go out into the bucket garden. And the last couple of years I've done potatoes and carrots in the buckets. This year I think I'm going to try sweet potatoes. I'll show you the bucket garden the bucket garden frame. Okay, that's the bucket garden frame where the buckets will go into. It holds 8 buckets. And we made this a couple years ago and it's held up really, really well. We did have another good, pretty day, but I spent the whole afternoon getting my hair done. So I couldn't do much on that day. But my husband did mow our front yard and mowed up the road. And we thought things were working out fine, although we did have to jump the lawnmower to get started, but we did manage to get it started. And then the steering went out of it. So now we're waiting for the guy to come and pick up the mower so he can get the steering wheel taken care of. And on top of that, my truck decided that its battery is no good. So he's going to town now to pick up another battery for the truck. So it's been one thing after the other as far as problems and things. And we, major one we lucked out. We didn't have any storm damage, knock on wood. So we can take the other little things in stride. They're small compared to some of the damage we saw when we went up to Franklin to have lunch with our son today. There was a lot of damage up in that area. So we are very truly blessed that we didn't get, and I thank God every day that the problems that we have are small problems that are easy to take care of. We've had our share of rainy weather, storms and stuff, so I think it's God's way of saying, take it easy. You don't need to be working so much outdoors. You need to get some stuff done indoors. So this week I have managed to order some things I needed for the greenhouses, which I've been putting off. Shampoo the downstairs carpets, clean the fish tank, clean the bird cage, clean the snake's enclosure, and get those done. And catch up on my laundry. So I got all that done and cleaned the house. So I'm ready for some pretty weather to get back out into the greenhouse and start moving these plants out as soon as possible. And like I said, we had a nice visit today with my son also. Another thing that I did was I rotated the pantry. So it's very important with the inflation going up like it is to have a supply of food on hand. I know I've got greenhouses and everything, and I've got tomatoes, but it's not guaranteed that I'm going to get anything, that those plants are actually going to grow. Because we had just had this tornado scare this past week, and it could have come and it could have taken out anything. And that way I wouldn't have had any food growing this season. So it's really nice to know that I have some food in the pantry, but make sure you rotate it. So I hope you've learned something. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Dream big and follow that dream. Bye, everybody.